What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Brad and this channel is all about optimizing every aspect of your life. Lately, I've been flying a lot. I fly for a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's to visit my sister in San Francisco. Sometimes I go on snowboard trips. Sometimes I travel for work. Whatever the reason, no matter what, when you fly, you have to go through the airport and everyone knows what that's like. There's a lot of stress involved with the airport. There's a lot of planning. Now, when I go to the airport, I always see people struggling to get their bags figured out, going through TSA, panicking, holding up the line, messing with their suitcase. I always stand in line and I kind of just like see those people struggling. So I think what I've done is I've made a point for myself to not be one of those people. So from planning my trip all the way up to the point of arriving at my destination, there's a bunch of things I've come up with to make sure that I'm not one of those people holding up the lines, stressing over time, having to run through the airport, and basically just optimize my airport experience. So today I want to share you some of my top tips to get through the airport stress-free and actually be able to enjoy your airport experience. So this may be a little surprising, but the majority of these tips are actually things that you would do before going to the airport. These are all things that you can do in advance to prepare to make sure that when you get to the airport, things are where they belong and you can just walk through the airport, not have to worry about anything and just hop on the plane. So before you get to the airport, of course you have to pack. Depending on the duration of your trip, you may have to pack a little, pack a lot. I'm not gonna get into that too much during this video. The main thing that I'm able to do is I always try to pack light. Don't overpack, don't stuff your bags. There's nothing worse than being on your trip, having to go through all your stuff, squeeze things in, and it just makes it really inconvenient. So try to have the right size luggage for the duration of your trip. Try to only bring the things that you need and make sure you're not forgetting things. So my go-to scenario for anywhere between 2 to maybe 5 days or 2 weeks is to have one carry-on suitcase and a personal item, my backpack. I like being able to just have one hand free to be on my phone if I need to, and then my backpack on my back. Now, the philosophy for me of having one suitcase and having one backpack is that the backpack is gonna be with me. That's what I'm gonna stow away under the seat in front of me. If I don't need to bring a suitcase, I will not, but the majority of my 3 to 5 day trips, I need that. So what I try to do is anything that goes in the suitcase, that's gonna be stuff that I don't need until I actually get to my destination. That's all of my clothes, speakers, swimsuit, all of that stuff. I'm not gonna need that when I'm going through the airport. So that's going away in my suitcase. That's gonna be put up ahead. And if I need to, I'm gonna check that bag. Now, the backpack that I bring on the flight that doesn't leave my side, that's gonna be limited to things that are for my airport experience. So it may be my inhaler or my phone charger or my portable power bank, things that I'm gonna use during my flight. I might bring my headphones, and I always like to bring a very lightweight jacket. That way, if I'm hot or cold on the plane, I have the option to shed it off or layer up. Also, you can use that for a pillow if you like. But at the end of the day, the main thing to keep in mind is when you're getting on that plane, you don't wanna have to open up your suitcase on the floor of the airport or on the plane to like try to get to stuff that's hard to get. Pack your bag, throw it up there, have your personal item with you, and not have to go through all your bags and move things around all the time. Clean your room before and after packing. If you clean your room before you pack, and then you take out your suitcase, you take out your backpack, then start taking out all the things you might think that you need for your trip, pack them in the suitcase, and then put everything else back away once you've decided. If your bag is full and you have something that you're not sure if you're gonna need, you kind of wanna bring that extra jacket, but you realize it's not gonna fit in your suitcase, then you can put it away. In my opinion, cleaning up after packing is super nice. Once you get home from your trip, it's such a nice feeling to come home to a clean room, and then right away you can throw your clothes in the laundry, put everything back where it belongs, empty out your suitcase, put that away. There's no mess and no clutter. Make sure you also pack in advance. No one likes to rush. No one likes to question whether they've forgotten something when they're trying to run out the door and don't have time to think. I hate that feeling when I'm walking through the airport and I'm like, I know I forgot something. Everyone's had that feeling. Don't be that person. Give yourself the amount of time that you need to pack. Give yourself the amount of time you need to go through your checklist, make sure you have everything you need, and then you don't have to worry later. Figure out in advance if you're going to be driving and leaving your car, or if you're gonna Uber or Lyft. For me, since I live about 10 minutes away from an airport, it's actually very convenient for me to take an Uber or a Lyft most of the time. That's really convenient because sometimes what I'll do is I'll schedule my Uber the day before. That way, the next morning I hop up, I get a notification and I run out the door. Prepare by downloading movies, music, games, whatever it is you want to do on your flight. I like to check the plane that I'm going to be on. Sometimes they have their onboard TV, in which case I usually take advantage of that. That way I can just discover a few more movies or whatever. But I like to have my laptop on me with a couple movies backed up just in case. You never know what's going to happen. Charge everything. On the dresser on my closet, I have a surge protector where I put a pile of things. So I have my phone, sometimes my GoPro, my camera batteries, they're all right there. And the night before, I always make sure I throw everything on the charger, and then the next morning, I hop up, I unplug it all, I bring the chargers that I need with me, and everything's fully charged. Most of the time when I'm at the airport, I don't have to sit down and look for outlets because that's just not an issue. Prepare snacks or food or maybe a pack of gum or anything that you might want to eat on the flight. I like to make sure I get to the airport early and wait for my flight. That way I'm not in a rush or I don't have to worry about getting there. And one of the only things to do at an airport is either get some work done or eat. I find that I'm just always hungry when I'm waiting at the airport. And airport food is pretty expensive and usually not that great. Rather than having to wait in line, order an expensive meal, I like to bring food. So most people don't know, but you can actually bring food through security. You can run it through the TSA machine. As long as you're not bringing any liquids in, you can bring a full meal all the way through and then eat that at the airport. I like to go for easy meals like boneless chicken wings that you can just stab with a fork and then throw away the trash. That way it's very hassle-free. Pack a water bottle. I personally love water in general, but when I'm going on my trip, I don't like when they give me those little tiny cups of water and I have to ask for 50 of them. And sometimes they'll give me a full can, which is nice, but I like to be prepared, have an empty water bottle in the side of my backpack. And as soon as I get into the airport, I fill it up. That way, for the rest of my trip, I just have water ready to go. If there's not a water station nearby, you can actually go up to any bar or restaurant and usually they'll fill up the bottle for you. Dress comfortably. If I'm with friends or coworkers or whatever, I used to try to worry about the way I look because I'm probably gonna be taking some Instagram pictures or something when I'm traveling. But what I've come to realize is it's so nice to just be able to lounge and relax. So one of my favorite things is I wear slippers. I actually wear slippers all the time now. I rarely put on a pair of shoes. Even when I went snowboarding in Colorado, I just brought a pair of slippers. Kind of slippery though. I like to wear slippers, sweatpants or shorts, a t-shirt and a hoodie, and just all cozy stuff. That way when I'm lounging back in the chair, it's like I'm in my PJs and it's actually easier to sleep. I'm at my ultimate level of comfort. Especially when I have my over-the-ear headphones on that are noise canceling plain. They sort of act as a little bit of a cushion on the chair, which adds even more comfort. And it just makes me so cozy and warm, and who doesn't want that? Travel light, try not to check a bag. Don't stuff your bag. It's such a pain trying to go through all your stuff, having to put it out on the floor or on a table and repack all the time. Just make sure you're not bringing too much crap and just bring what you need. If you're going on a big trip and you have a lot of stuff with you, weigh your carry-on. I've been in a situation where they told me my bag is too heavy and I had to take a bunch of stuff out and squeeze it into other bags to try to figure it out. It's just a hassle, takes time, and it's so inconvenient. So be prepared, have an idea. And if you want to, you can get one of those little travel scales. That way you can weigh your bag on the go. If you do end up in that situation, one thing to remember is they don't actually weigh the clothes that you're wearing. So if you needed to, you could take out all your shirts, put them all on over, be like a big marshmallow, and then your bag will weigh a little bit less. Prepare for the time change. If you're going international or if you're crossing time zones, a lot of times they'll try to simulate the change in time by turning off the lights in the plane, having quiet times, and then they'll give you the food that represents the time of the day. So they'll give you breakfast, or they'll give you dinner at different times in your flight. I personally love to just deprive myself of sleep the day before. That way when I hop on the flight, I'm super tired and I can just fall asleep really easily. When you're at the airport, check your bags as soon as possible. If they allow for curbside check-in, use it. Usually the line is way smaller than on the inside. And then when you're walking around the airport, going up escalators and stuff, you have less stuff that you have to work with. One of my favorite things is getting TSA pre-check, global entry, and clear. Having the combination of TSA pre-check and clear at the same time is so nice because with clear, they bring you straight to the front of the line. With TSA pre-check, you don't have to take off your jacket or your shoes, you just walk through. So for me, the happy path or the ideal scenario of going through airport security is I show up, I've either checked my bag already or I have something lightweight with me. I throw onto the conveyor my bag, my backpack, and then I walk through. It's very simple. One thing I do before I even get to the conveyor belt is I take everything that's in my pocket that's gonna have to be removed anyway, and I put it into my personal item. I'll take my watch, my wallet, anything that's in my pockets, and I'll put it all into my backpack. That way, when I get up to the conveyor, I put my backpack down and slide it through. I don't have to slide my slippers off because I have TSA pre-check, but if I didn't, I still wouldn't have to untie my shoes and retie them and sit down at the seats after. When I'm walking into the plane, one thing I like to do is take my suitcase and put it up somewhere on the way to my seat. If I get to my seat and there's nowhere to put my bag, I may have to go even further back. And as a result, when everyone's getting off the plane, you have to wait for people to get off, and then you can go back and grab your bag. If you put your bag somewhere on the way to your seat, then when the flight's over, you can get up, throw your bag on or grab your personal item, and then after you're all situated and walking out, then you can grab your bag on the way down. If you plan accordingly, you won't need anything from the bag during the flight. So you might as well just get in, throw it up there, and then walk back to your seat. And then on the way out, you can just bring it down. I like to prepare by always making sure I have easy access to my passport, my ID, and my plane ticket. I actually use all the airline apps to make sure that I get updates from my flights, and I always know the latest information about my gate and all of that. But in addition to that, as soon as I check in, as soon as I get my boarding pass, I always take a screenshot of the ticket on my phone. That way, if my phone's being weird or I can't log into the airline app for some reason, then at least I can just go to my photos, and at the top, I'll have a screenshot of the QR code or barcode to get on the flight. When you're sitting on the plane, there's a few things you can do to optimize your situation. I personally prefer the aisle seat because I have easy access in and out. I don't mind getting up for other people to get by, and I like having that little bit of extra leg room on one side. I always like to figure out how to lift the armrest. I've figured out a bunch of different armrests. Some of them have a little lever on the inside, some have a button on the back or on the side, but I always find it fun to always figure out how to lift the armrest. One nice thing about that is if you need to get in and out, you can just throw it up, and then all the people don't have to like get around all weird. In general, I don't have the best posture when I'm working. I sit really far back from my computer and I slouch. For the longest time when I'm sitting on flights, I could never figure out how to get comfortable. I think that the plane seats have a hole where your lower back goes and there's no lumbar support. So I used to always try to recline my chair, put some stuff behind my back and figure out how to sit there. But what I finally figured out is having good posture is super useful, especially when you're on a really long flight. So what I do is I sit all the way back in the chair, buckle my seatbelt, and I actually pull it pretty tight. This pushes me really high in the chair and it forces me to have good posture. It usually keeps me comfortable for a very long time. Another thing I like to do is just recline a little bit. You can compare to the seat next to you if it's obvious, but whenever the plane's taking off or about to land, they always ask you to bring your chairs up. But if it's reclined just a little bit and they can't totally tell that you're reclined, then you'll get to keep that recline during the takeoff and the landing. I don't understand why everyone's so anxious to get off the plane. Everyone just stands up all awkwardly waiting to get off. I usually like to sit there and make sure all my stuff is packed. I see everyone else standing all awkwardly and uncomfortably under the sides. Once it's my turn, I unbuckle, stand up, and get off. If you need to stretch your legs, sure, that's fine. You could do that during the flight too. You might as well just sit down until it's your turn to get off. For longer flights, walk around and stretch. Usually over by the bathrooms, there's a little bit of an open area. So I'll go over there, I'll walk a lap on the plane, I'll spend a good 10 minutes standing near the bathroom, stretching my legs and just kind of like loosening up. I find that once I sit back down, that helps me stay a lot more comfortable. My final tip is to be nice to the flight attendants. When you're nice to them, they usually are nice back to you. I have a flight attendant friend and she told me that if you bring them chocolates, they may be more willing to give you free alcohol. So try it out. So there's a lot of things that I do to prepare or habits that I have when going through the airport. I go in, I go through security, and I kind of just chill and enjoy my time at the airport. And I'm able to have fun and get things done. I get to enjoy the experience rather than having to worry about all these different things. And you can do this too. So for me, the happy path from home to the end is my bags are packed, I get up on time, I hop in my Uber. Once I get to the airport, I don't have that much to do. I either check a bag or roll up to security, walk on through, fill up my water bottle, use the bathroom one more time if I need to, and then sometimes I'll either eat or I'll just get on my plane. I sit comfortably on the plane, I watch movies or work a little bit, and then I get off the plane and go do whatever it is I'm about to go do. I hope you guys find these tips helpful. The actual list I had for this video is super massive, and there's a ton of other things that you can do to optimize your airport experience, but I hope this improves your airport experience, prevents you from being that person that's holding up the line, and helps you optimize your travel. If you guys like this kind of stuff, make sure you smash the like button, optimize the subscribe button if you want to see more stuff like this. If there's any questions about the tips that I gave, or you have tips of your own that you want to share, make sure you leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week, and make sure you optimize your life. Peace.